Hi guys, welcome along. First of all, Galway Day1's in the bag. Tough days racing, great days racing. First selection in the first race. We actually we said that we thought Aidan's horse and Michael O'Callaghan's horse were going to battle it out. We got it wrong. Michael's horse, under a fantastic ride by Lee Roach, must I say. If you ever want to see how to ride Galway, that's how you ride it. He pinged about 4 lengths out the gates and sent him up. He knew his job. He knew what he wanted to do. So Lee Roach, a native Galway native, gave that horse in the first I Am Magic a cracking ride. Fair play to Michael. His horses are in tremendous form. Second race, Motor Country for William McCreary and Billy Lee. I'd stick with her the next day. She had a little bit of a stumble if you rewatch the race, and it kind of hindered her chances improving 3-year-olds. So definitely want to keep an eye out for the next day. Feature race, our selection was hammered. We were on it at 14-1. It was into 4-1, so we had ultimate value. But I just thought it was maybe a little bit far back. No help to anyone, or no fault of anyone. Just the way them big handicaps in Galway play out. You have to sit and wait. So definitely another horse I would keep an eye on. Johnny Murtagh's fillied in that we selected in the handicap. The 3-year-old handicap, disappointing. She's disappointed a few times. I just thought maybe now with the cheap pieces, and she won so well the last day that she put 2 runs together. But definitely a filly with talent, but definitely not a filly I would trust, if that makes sense. But we shouted out to the guys last night. Their filly ran great in that race, Binks. So onwards and upwards for the local lads involved in the syndicate there with Binks. But that was day 1. We're on to day 2 of Galway and day 1 of Goodwood. I don't have a whole pile of selections. I have 4 from Galway and 3 from Goodwood. But as I said, as the week steps up, we will, especially with the National Hunt racing there kicking in Wednesday, Thursday and Friday in Galway, I expect a few more selections. But anyway, on to day 2 of Galway. It's an 8-race card. It's off a little bit later this time. It's off at 4:35, and the feature is the mile flat race. One of the big handicaps there of the week. Cracking race. I keep calling it the McDonough because that's what I grew up watching it as the McDonough. It's the BMW column, something BMW mile now. But the first race I'm going to take a look at is the second race in the card. It's a 2-year-old maiden, and I think Radiac for Dermot Weld in the hands of Colin Keane here. Daughter Luke de Vega. She was second on her debut at Leopardstown over 7. Early June. She was well beaten that day by a decent horse, but the 3rd and the 4th have come out and won since. Franks the form immensely, and the way Dormer's horses are running, I think she's a bit of value here. She's about 11-8, 6-4 in places. I think that's a bit of value, actually. I'm not one for the short ones, but I think this one could be a good one. She's drawn well. She's drawn in 4, so I expect her to be prominent, and all things going well, should be fairly smooth sailing there for the Dermot Weld runner. That brings us to the 3rd race on the card. The 5:45. It's a 7 furlong fillies listed stakes for 3-year-olds. Plus, I like one down the bottom here is Ken Condon's Thunder Beauty, a very impressive winner on debut over 6 at the Curragh on yielding ground. Will like the rain that's coming. She was then thrown in the deep end, was only and in the mile layer. She was only beaten 3 and about less than 3.5 lengths. She finished 6th that day, but that was a Group 1. She was disappointing on her season reappearance last, but that was in the 1,000 guineas on ground. She wouldn't have liked the ground went too hard. She was then 6th in a Group 3 at the Curragh, but she was only beaten 3.5 lengths, and then she was finished 2nd in her last start in a 6 furlong fillies listed contest at the Curragh. No, that was her second last start. Her last run was in a Group 2. So she's been keeping the best of company. She hasn't, I think a Group 3 was her lowest company. She's back in listed company. She was staying on to finish. She finished 6th, but she was only beaten a little bit under 5 lengths, I think. She's coming back. She's getting weight, being a 3-year-old. She's on ground she likes. She's got a nice draw. Boysports are paying 4 places in the race. She's 8 or 9-1. I think she's a cracking player here each way in the hands of Niall McCullough. That brings us to the 4th race. It's the feature race. It's the mile. I keep calling it the McDonough. I sound like I'm from 1960. It's one of the most competitive races of the week. I like Jessica Harrington's Taruna Siam. I think I'm pronouncing that totally wrong. In the hands of Dusty Foley, anyway, that'll make it easier to find. She catches my eye here, or he catches my eye here. He was a winner here of a 3-year-old maiden over the course and distance, and was well supported here last year when backed into favour for this race. He stayed on well. He had needed a bit of luck that day. He's only a pound higher than last year. He's been running super this year. Jessica Harrington's horses have been running super as well. She had double today, I think. She definitely had one winner, if not two. But they're starting to really hit form. Dusty takes the right here. He had a choice of a couple in the race. He chose his horse last year. Of course, Jessica's horse finished second in it last year. He finished fourth. He gets my vote here on a course he likes, which Galway is all about course form. We get that with certain tracks. You'd say horses for courses. This is one of those tracks where it comes in. Another one that might run well at a price, I think, is Jorlines' Lust. Down to very, very bottom of the waist, 3-year-old in the hands of Sean Davis. He's a super lightweight, as I said. He was very impressive last time, winning a 7-4 on Curra handicap by 2 lengths, and it was a very competitive handicap, made bits of it. So, look, he might be lacking a bit of experience, but he's off a low weight. He's poorly drawn, that's the only thing. But sometimes in these big handicaps, it might actually, the worse the draw, maybe it might actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise, really. So, look, it could be another one there for the each-way players. And that brings us to the last race. I'm going to take a look at Galway of Day 2. It's the 5th race. It's a 3-year-old handicap with 12 runners lining up here. Dermot Wells Baseman is favoured here and will take all the beating. But with Boyle Sports money back offer, and this offer kicks in here, it kicks in all races in Galway and Goodwood. There are 5 or more runners in the race. So just be careful of that in case we get a non-runner or something and there's only 4 runners or less. You get your money back as a free bet. So I'm going to take him on here with Joseph O'Brien's trained Drac at Night in his mother's colours. He's by Fastnet Rock. He's been running super well in maidens. His first time in a handicap. He's drawn 4. She's the one for me here, especially with that offer kicking in here. Declan McDonough in the saddle. So Joseph O'Brien's runner for me in the 5th race on the card. And that was the Day 2 of Galway that I was looking at. Then we're on to Goodwood Day 1. I have 3 selections for Goodwood. The feature race, of course, is the staying race, but I'm going to look at the first race on the card. It's an 8-race card. It's off at 150. As I said, the feature is off at 335. But before all that, let's start. It's the first race. It's a very competitive handicap, an 18-runner handicap. It's one of these races we like, the hard races. There's 2 in here that I'm going to take a look at. One is one of our old favourites here, Johnny Drama, of course. Johnny Drama, what a character he was in Entourage. One of my favourites, and he's one of my favourite horses, this horse. He runs here, a winner on his last start of a 20-runner handicap at York. I think he can back that up again. I just don't think he wants the ground to be too soft, so we'll be careful of that. He's got a nice draw. SDS takes over here, retained rider for King Power. And I think he could back up that again. He's definitely an each-way player here at 11-1. Another one that catches my eye is last year's winner, May Danny, for trainer Mark Johnson, with Jim Crowley in the saddle, of course, in the colours of Shadwell. He's drawn low, which is ideal, and he's been knocking on the door again. He doesn't win a whole pile, this horse, but he won this race last year. He's back at a race and a track that he loves. And I could see him going back-to-back here. So for Mark Johnson, he loves having runners and winners here at Goodwood, one of his local tracks. So for me, those are my 2 selections in that 18-runner first race. The second race on the card then is the Vintage Stakes. It's a Group 2 for 2-year-olds, over 7 furlongs. We've got 7 runners lining up here. Berkshire Shadow is a winner. He was winner of the Coventry at Royal Ascot, and is a warm favourite here for Andrew Balding and Oisin Murphy. He will take all the beating, but I'm going to take him on again with that offer. I'm going to back him. You could either back this horse without the favourite or each way from my eyes. Aidan O'Brien's the Acropolis. His son of Churchill, to be first season sire. His first stakes winner the other day. I think it was a listed winner, I'm not too sure. He improved from debut, which was a very eye-catching debut, to win a 6-furlong maiden. It was in this stall, but he won by 3 3.5 lengths that day, and the third and the fourth have went on to win since. The fourth horse actually won the other day in Down Royal and was very impressive. He then finished right, so that was, he won his maiden. He then went over to Royal Ascot. He finished 9th in the Coventry. The Berkshire Royal won, but he's only beaten 4 lengths, and he was in a bad draw. So he'll handle the ground, which I don't know, will a lot of them will. I think this, look, the ground is currently given soft. I like always with these races, I like to see what way the ground actually runs on the day. So he'll handle a bit of cutting the ground for me. I don't know, well, the rest of them. So for me, I think at 15-2, 8-1 maybe, he's an each way player or without a favour for me, the Acropolis. And then the last race I'm going to take a look at then is the feature race. It's the Goodwood Cup. It's a Group 1 over 2 miles, and we've got one of our old favourites here, Stradivarius for John Gosden with Frankie Dettori here, bidding to break history here and go 5 Goodwood Cups. Of course, we all seen what happened in Royal Ascot when he was bidding to join Yates there on 4 Gold Cups. Look, people sometimes, it's very easy to blame jockeys and whatever at the time. I just think the race panned out the way the race panned out. He finished 4th in the Gold Cup at Royal Ascot. But coming back here, I think Trushan, he's been well supported for Alan King and Holly Doyle. Will like the ground, obviously, 9-4. But I remember Stradivarius winning here on soft ground, and some of his best performances have been here. And the people are saying that, will he handle the ground? Won't he handle the ground? Some of his best performances here were on soft ground, so I wouldn't be worrying about that or taking into account. 6-4 for me. Look, the old boy, I think he's probably signing off now. He's a 7-year-old. Yeah, for me, look, I just want to see him win here. I think he will. I actually think he'll bounce back in style here. Stradivarius for me with John Gosden and Frankie Dettori in the saddle. Look, Aidan has a couple of runners in the race. One that I'm be interested again each way. I was very disappointed with him the last day. Actually, it was Santiago. But I think if he comes back to his old form, he's a class horse, this horse. And if he bounces back here each way, they're 14-1 in the hands of Wayne Lorden. Definitely an each way player for me here. But for me, Stradivarius, make it 5 Goodwood Cups in a row. So those are my selections for Day 1 or Day 2 Galway, Day 1 of Goodwood. Looking forward to another great day's racing, and looking forward to Wednesday's action at Galway. The Galway Plate is on. Some cracking entries in that. Can't wait to go through them. And guys, again, really, really appreciate the support and the likes and the share. So again, keep it up. Subscribe to the channel. Fire it out. And I will talk to you again very soon. Cheers, guys.